Todd, I know lines in practice aren't necessarily what we might see in a game or at any point, but when you move guys around a little bit like that, how much is experimentation? How much is maybe a guy didn't do what you might have been hoping in a certain slot? What's going into some of the...
Well, a fair amount of it is trying to figure out who's going to blend and mesh with line mates. And obviously we've talked about the right wing position since the beginning of training camp. We've moved players around, and we've got 7 or 8 games in exhibition season to do that. And the big question will be, Leon's on the wing today with Connor. Well, we know we can go to that. I'm comfortable with that. I'm not, or we aren't looking directly at what they can produce if we use them in Vancouver on the weekend. We're looking at more at the other 3 lines. What can they get done, and how do they react to each other? And and then we'll make decisions from there. We have to be flexible. We have to be able to be reactive to good games, bad games, good individual performances, bad performances, and we will be. And players have to be prepared to play with different line mates at any given moment.
Do you like that, or you would prefer to have it obvious that those guys are playing with those guys and there's no way to change them?
No, because I think it's insane if you just watch a group of 3 guys go out there and get nothing done. You have to help them. You've got to do some shuffling. It often sends messages to the team. It sends messages to the individuals. So, I'm far from let's keep them together for the next 3 weeks and see what they can do, because if it's not working for 3 weeks, you never get that time back, and you're done. Your season's over. So often I don't even let it go for 3 periods. If you're not performing, if you're not awake and you're not contributing, we begin to shuffle things around, and we look for a team response and then an individual response.
Connor's second goal last night, he flicks the puck up to himself and then bats it into the net. Does he still surprise you with his creativity?
Yeah, he does. He's, it just goes to show how talented he is. But I know that didn't happen by accident. He, through some of his skill training in the summer and the things that he does in his own training regimen, I'm sure he's tried that 1,000 times. He's worked on it. I guess last night was perfecting it. So it's fun to watch. That's why the people come to the rink, is to see plays like that.
How's the defense? Sorry, Jim, go ahead. Hockey Hall of Famer.
Whoa, you got...
Yeah, I'm referring to the Hockey Hall of Famer.
Oh, no, Clef wasn't feeling good today, so I expect him to skate tomorrow and play on the weekend. Back to the low guy. Hey,
Hall of Famer.
This must be the Hall of Fame section over here, isn't it? Hey, hey, Reed.
On the heels of the question about Oscar, a little bit about your defense, and just we spent a lot of time talking about Leon and Connor, and rightfully so. But I wonder what it looks like to you so far, and what more you want to see, if you want to see more out of them as you get ready for the regular season.
Well, first of all, the big hole that has been created is Sekera's injury. He played such a big role in our team power play, penalty kill, 20 minutes a night, the ability to defend, and a settle down factor, I guess, if you will, on the blue line. So that creates a big hole, and what it does is it creates pressure situations for some of our younger players that may not be or may not have experienced it. I'm thinking Darnell and Matty Benning, and those players have to take a little bit more on, a few more minutes. We put them in situations, power play maybe a little bit now, that they aren't normally in, and that's okay. They're allowed to grow their game. We're here to help them. But overall, as a group, we've got to be quick at moving pucks. We've got to get them into our forwards' hands. We think our forwards have some pace and some speed. So if they're able to retrieve pucks, get it into the forwards' hands, and then support, we'll be happy with our group.
How was Benning last night after some early games?
He was good. He was, him and Chris were really good. I thought they had a little more, well, not necessarily Chris, but Matt had a little more jump in his stride, and a little more physicality, a little nastiness in his game. And again, he's got a lot on his mind as a young player. He's taking more on because he's got some power play responsibility right now, and it's a concern of ours. How much can we give him so that he maintains his game, to the point where it was last year and grows it, or are we giving him too much and we'll stunt him? So we've got to find that balance as we go forward.
How was Strome at center?
I liked him there. I thought he was around the puck more than he was as a winger. he had more touches. He was more creative in the game. That doesn't mean that can't happen on the wing. It's just one night, and I thought he did a good job.
So you made a comment last night about Yamamoto. If you're on a line with McDavid, you can't defer to him. You still got to go for it. If there's a pitch to hit for a home run, hit it for a home run. And you've made that comment in the past about Draisaitl and Nugent-Hopkins, I think specifically. Are they better at seizing it, and whether they're on the ice with Connor or not, having that mentality, I can be the star tonight, I can make the play if it's there.
Well, I think there's a natural answer there. Any one of us would answer that. When you've got an 18-year-old that just left junior hockey, and he's doing everything he can to scramble and scrap to make this team, and he's playing with the Hart Trophy winner. I know if it was me, I'd be looking at him all the time. Here, take this thing and go with it. But that can't be the case. Yamo has a tremendous toolbox himself, and in fact, he can probably create some space for Connor if he's doing his thing, and that's just part of the learning curve. He'll be fine, and he'll learn to deal with that just like Leon did and everybody else.
And is Nuge grabbing? I mean, look, I know I'm talking about 6 preseason games, but do you think Nuge is grabbing it a little bit more and being assertive?
Well, he's had good games when he's played. The Carolina game here at home was an egg we all laid. Nobody played well, but other than that, the games that Ryan's been in, he's been strong. He's been strong two-way. He's created offense. He's penalty killed. I like his game right now. It just got to transfer over into the regular season. And, if you start well, if you get off to a 2 or 3 game sprint and you feel good about yourself, that can set you up for a good year. So those will be important games for him.
Todd, do you know how, after Saturday's game, how your Sunday, Monday looked like in regards to making the final moves? Is it something you
Yeah, Sunday will be an off day. And then Monday and Tuesday we'll practice. I believe Tuesday is roster day. I'm not even sure. One, we will evaluate health, and then 2, we'll make some decisions to get down to that 23-man roster. Obviously, Sekera will be on IR, and we'll decide from there. I think we only have 2 or 3 decisions left to make with the number of players that are in camp.
Todd, are you going to use your coach's challenge any differently than you rule in place yesterday?
No, we'll use it when we feel we need to, and what that means is if we feel like we have a better than 50-50 chance of having success, we'll take that chance. The other thing we will consider, though, is the score, the time of the game, the momentum of the game. If you happen to be trailing by 1 or 2 and they make it 4-1 with 7 or 8 minutes left and you think it's offside, that's probably a chance we'll take. At 4-1, it's tough to come back. 3-1, you have a chance. So we'll gamble a little bit based on score, but we'll try and approach it the same way we always have, with a chance of success. AV was good. He skated well last night. I think for him, he's still trying to figure out our structure, some of our language. Lots happening on the fly now between line changes and power play change, maybe a different breakout, and he's trying to absorb it and figure it all out. So, but I thought he had a good game last night.
Steve Hamilton and Ryan Marsh have both said that your coaching staff has a really great open door policy, and you guys have been great mentors. Is that something that's important to you guys?
Well, I think it's really important, and not just because they're part of the Oiler family. They're hockey people, and they have careers that they want to prolong and extend and graduate up. And I was in that office at one point, and there were people that helped me. So I think it's important that we give back. They have some tremendous ideas that they share with us that we adopt sometimes too. And just because you're at our level doesn't mean we have all the answers. Sometimes it's not a bad thing to listen to rather than talk.